Folks, in my 20 years in the league, I've never seen anything like this. What I'm about to tell you is not just another rumor. It's a seismic shift that could redefine the landscape of the NFL in 2026. And trust me when I say, secrecy is everything right now. The insiders are whispering, the scouts are buzzing, and what's happening behind the scenes is so explosive you'll have to hear it to believe it. There's a clandestine war unfolding that could catapult one team into championship contention, while shaking the very foundation of the league. What I'm about to reveal might be the biggest story of the offseason, something that's been kept under lock and key, but which now threatens to explode into the open. If you've ever wondered what goes on in the shadowy corridors of NFL power, stay tuned because this could be the revelation you've been waiting for. And yes, it involves a name you know very well, Christian Harris, and a team that's ready to make history. But first, if you're serious about following every twist, every secret, every move that could change the game, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and ring the notification bell. Because what I'm about to unpack goes way beyond what the mainstream is willing to tell you. This isn't just a rumor, it's a blueprint for a future that's being crafted right now. Only the insiders know the full scope, and I'm about to take you inside behind the curtain and show you exactly what's happening. Are you ready to see the unseen? Because the real story starts now, let's dive deep into the heart of this operation. Cleveland Browns fans, this is your moment, but what I'm about to drop is bigger than just your team. It's a NFL-wide seismic event in the making. I've pieced together the pieces of a puzzle that's still coming together, and what's emerging is shocking, something that, if true, will send shockwaves through the league. The Browns, after firing Kevin Stefanski, are officially in rebuild mode, but what you haven't heard is what they're secretly planning behind closed doors. And that plan involves a player, someone you thought was safe, yet whose future may now be hanging by a thread. No, this isn't just about draft talk and free agency, it's about the kind of move that shifts the balance of power. Now, let's talk about the team's current weaknesses, what's holding Cleveland back from that Super Bowl they crave. Because if you think they can get there just by fixing the offensive line or adding a star wideout, think again. The Browns have struggled with consistency on defense, especially in coverage and in the run game. The coaching staff, led by Todd Monken and possibly the return of Jim Schwartz in some capacity, has shown flashes of brilliance but also glaring holes. Their linebackers have been underperforming in traditional run-stopping and coverage, exposing the secondary to big plays. The deficiencies are clear: inability to contain mobile quarterbacks, struggles against tight ends and slot players, and an overall lack of playmaking at the second level. Statistics don't lie. Over the last 2 seasons, Cleveland's defense has allowed an average of 6.2 yards per play, worse than league average. Their tackling has been inconsistent, and injuries at linebacker have decimated continuity. The team's overall run defense, ranked 22nd in the league in 2025, has been a glaring weakness. It's no coincidence. They've been acquiring safeties and defensive backs over the last year, but the real missing link: a versatile, playmaking linebacker who can thrive in both pass coverage and run support. Enter Christian Harris, someone who on paper checks all those boxes, but who also, crucially, is an undervalued gem still in his prime, waiting for the right team to unlock his full potential. Now, what does Cleveland really need? They need a linebacker who can do it all: coverage, blitzing, sideline-to-sideline chase, and the ability to shed blocks. They need someone who can elevate the defense instantly. And I'm telling you, Christian Harris is the perfect fit, an inside-out disruptor with the speed, instincts, and explosion to change games. But wait, before you dismiss it as just a wish, let's look at the film, the numbers, the analytics, and the insiders' whispers. The solution? It's Christian Harris, no question about it, and I'll tell you exactly why. When you break down his film from Alabama and his NFL tape, the picture becomes clear. Harris's speed is elite. He runs a 4.52 40-yard dash, and his acceleration is top tier. His sideline-to-sideline ability is unmatched for a player his size. Standing at 6'1", 235 pounds, he combines the power of a linebacker with the agility of a safety. His tackling is violent and precise, often finishing plays with a thud that echoes through the stadium. Advanced metrics back this up. His Pro Football Focus grades rank him among the best linebackers in the league when healthy. His missed tackles are fewer than most of his peers, and his success rate in coverage is off the charts. He mirrors backs and tight ends with uncanny precision. His burst off the edge on blitzes is what scouts call game-wrecking. He gets to the quarterback nearly as fast as a defensive end. His 2024 season was limited by injury. He suffered a calf strain that sidelined him for most of the year. But when healthy, Harris was a difference-maker, averaging over 7 tackles per game and flashing a knack for forcing turnovers. His college tape at Alabama showcased a player who was a semi-finalist for the Butkus Award, universally recognized as the best linebacker in college football. NFL evaluators love his high motor style, and his special teams contributions add a further layer of value. Yet, despite all this, Harris remains undervalued in the broader NFL landscape, a player who, if placed in the right system, could reach stardom. So how does all that lead us to Cleveland? Well, the Browns have been quietly exploring options at linebacker for months. Their internal scouts have been eyeing Harris's film, and sources tell me they've been in touch with his representatives. But the kicker. The real insider chatter suggests Cleveland's front office knows they need more than just a good linebacker. They need a game changer. And Harris, with his upside, is that player. The trade mechanics are complex, but there's a window opening that could make it happen. Imagine this. Cleveland offers a package centered around their 2026 second-round pick, plus a conditional future pick if Harris reaches certain benchmarks in 2026. The Texans, reportedly, are very high on Harris and are weighing a rebuild. They're rebuilding around young talent, especially at linebacker and defense, and Harris could be part of a new core. The cap gymnastics. Harris's rookie deal isn't expensive, just over $1.3 million per year, and he's on the cusp of unrestricted free agency. That gives Cleveland leverage. They could offer a mid-round pick, a player infusion, and maybe even include a young cornerback or safety to sweeten the deal. The Texans would back Harris's talent and see the opportunity to flip him for more draft capital, especially if they're focusing on a rebuild with new stars at quarterback and on defense. And what's in it for Cleveland? Well, a proven difference-maker at linebacker who can slot into their scheme immediately, covering tight ends, rushing the passer, and shutting down the run. It's the perfect antidote to their defensive woes. Harris's skills align perfectly with Todd Monken's aggressive scheme, an attack-minded coach who needs versatile defenders who can do it all. Harris's blend of speed and physicality makes him the ideal fit to be a cornerstone for Cleveland's defense in 2026 and beyond. Now let's compare Harris to other top-tier linebackers. Think of Fred Warner or Darius Leonard. Harris isn't quite at that level yet, but the trajectory is clear. He has the physical tools that, with coaching and consistent health, could skyrocket. If Cleveland pulls the trigger, Harris instantly becomes their highest upside linebacker. His ability to play in multiple schemes, zone coverage, man-to-man, blitzing, means he's a chess piece for defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. And with the Browns' financial flexibility and draft assets, they have the ammunition to make this deal happen. But here's what really excites me. The NFL's analytics community is already high on Harris. His success rate in coverage, his tackling efficiency, and his disruptive potential are all trending upward. And league insiders tell me Cleveland's brain trust has been quietly studying film, running simulations, and mapping out progression pathways for Harris. They believe, with the right environment, he could develop into an all-pro caliber player in his prime. So what's the final verdict? As a scout and insider, I see this move as a no-brainer for Cleveland. Harris's ceiling is enormous, and his floor is already promising. The fact that the Texans are open to trading him at this stage, especially for a deal that doesn't cripple their cap, says a lot. That's the kind of move only a desperate or visionary organization makes when they see a star in the making. Cleveland, sitting on the edge of a rebuild, has the perfect storm brewing to land this diamond in the rough. But mark my words, the clock is ticking. The offseason is still young, but if Cleveland moves fast, if they strike now, they could secure Harris's services before other teams start sniffing around. The league is watching, and the player himself is aware. Harris's agent knows the value of a prime opportunity. The Texans. They're eyeing the same thing, droughted draft capital and young talent. This could be the move that defines the next era of Cleveland Browns football. If you're wondering when it might happen, the signs point to a deal emerging in the next few weeks. perhaps after the combine when everyone's finalizing their plans. And trust me, when this deal drops, it'll be one of the most talked about moves of the offseason. Cleveland is positioning itself to be a defensive juggernaut, and Harris could be their secret weapon. Now, what does this mean for you, the fan? It's simple. We're on the cusp of something epic, something bigger than just a trade rumor. This is the beginning of a new chapter, a strategic play that transcends mere roster moves. It's about a team willing to take risks, to shake up the league, and to build around young talent with disruptive potential. Harris, with his freakish athleticism and game-changing ability, fits perfectly into that blueprint. In conclusion, keep your eyes peeled. Watch the draft boards, listen for insider whispers, and watch how Cleveland's front office moves in the coming weeks. Because if this trade happens, and I believe it will set off a chain reaction that could reshape the NFL's power structure for years to come. And remember, this story isn't just about one player or one team. It's about a league in motion, a new era dawning, and Cleveland Browns standing right at the forefront, ready to dominate. Stay tuned, because what I've just revealed is only the beginning of a story that will change everything.